Hi guys, a couple years ago I bought a bunch of Woodward Fab equipment. It was at the Carlisle Auto Show. Went down there with my son Connor and we were walking around and we saw this stuff and it was like a really good deal. I mean, you know, it was kind of a lot of money for me to spend at the time, but I thought, what the heck, we're going to use it. And we do, for the most part. We use it hobby-like. It's not like we're cranking on this stuff every day, but every chance we get, we're kind of working with this stuff. So today's tool is the bead roller. I'd like to show you guys the bead roller. So this is the Woodward Fab bead roller. It's a hand crank model, which I think is all I really need. Woodward Fab model RM18 bead roller kit. And I guess they call it a kit because I've got other dies to go with it. So I'm going to see what I can do. I maybe made a mistake because this panel, I've already bent it up. But I was thinking if I bent it up, it would have more structural soundness. So when I did bead roll it, it would stay more uniform. I may have done the exact opposite what I should have done. Maybe I should have bead rolled it first. Honestly, I don't know. But I'm going to find out. So probably what I'm going to have to do, if you can see, I can't put this in the bead roller this way. See, because that's going to bang right there. So I might have to orient the dies the opposite way, which is okay. I don't think that's going to be a problem. There's adjustability. I don't have to. I got a set screw here. I can set the dies as tight or loose. Let's see if I can show you. See, this thing slides up. There's a bolt back here. So this has movability to it. I'm going to set this up and see what happens. Oh yeah, you can see I'm moving it. I have to go get an Allen wrench and tighten things up. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to set this thing up and then I'll come back as soon as I'm ready for that. Okay, so I put these dies in, but I don't think they're the right ones. Because as soon as I put my piece in, my old piece, just to see how it'll look, I cram it in there. And what I'm getting is, if you can see that, the one part of the die isn't coming down tight. See how it's floating there? So that tells me I got to go to a shallower die. Okay, so I got this thing clamped in there with my old piece. And I've tried to set it up so the profile is quite similar to what, you know, so the profile kind of matches the old piece. I can wheel this through here, no problem. Well, let's see what happens if I try to put just a piece of scrap metal in there. It's very hard to keep this thing rolling straight. And it's a little tough to crank too, but let's see what happens. I'm just going to try to wheel that through there kind of straight. Wow, look at that. I think that's pretty close to what I'm looking for. Pretty much only, probably only get one chance. Let's see if I can match them up so they look, yeah, that looks pretty close. I mean, close enough for what I'm doing. It's kind of neat what you can do with the right tools. Wish I had a hand crank assistant. They do make these in a motorized version. I think that would be kind of neat. Get her started. Gotta get her going. Okay. We got it in there. I'll just try to keep her straight on the line. It's a little bit tricky. Especially the way things are binding up on this side on me. So now that I got her started, looks like I'm getting the profile I'm looking for pretty much. I'm going to see if I can just keep her going straight by leaning into it. My real problem is going to be when I come to that edge, I'm not going to be able to really make that corner, because over here I have this piece that's going to stop me. And it's pressing it in there. Look, I'm staying on the line fairly good. I really wishing doesn't do me much good in doing this kind of work, but I really wish I'd have not pressed that one line yet. Not made that bend, because it's going to prevent me from going around this corner. Although I think I can get a start on it. Oh, that's the end of it. Okay, so I'm going to back it out now. There we go. I probably could even, to be safer, I could probably just loosen the clamp and pull the work out. That might be even a better idea, but I think it's working okay. So there we have it. We have a pressed raised panel there. How do I get this? that's the tricky part. How do I get that? Well, you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to set up the machine, and I won't be able to get all the way to the end, but that's okay. I'm gonna set up the machine so I can come in from this end, and then I'll be able to make the turn and try to finish that. So I'm gonna set the machine up and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've had to flip these dies because the way it goes around and I'm coming in the opposite direction, I had to flip the dies. Now what I've done is I've loosened up the set screw and picked up the thing so I could put the work inside. Now I'm going to crank the set screw down. That's going to make the original indentation and make the original dent that we're just going to press. So I'm just going to run the screw down to about where I see the treads were, and if it'll go, and if not, I'll just crank it down a little more. I probably should tighten up this backer bolt right here so things kind of square up a little bit. In retrospect, I probably would have been better off pressing this in the flat piece before I put any bends in it next time. So now I'm going to try to pull this through straight like I did the other one. Oh yeah, there we go. I got my eyeball going. I'm shooting my eyeball, my sight, right across that wheel onto the line. I'm trying to keep her going straight. Yeah, it looks like it's going. And it's pressing the same dent in just like it's supposed to. So I'm looking pretty good right at the moment. It's a little hard for me once I crank this down around. I almost wish it had a wheel that would ratchet so I could just stand here and ratchet it back and forth, but I mean, how much you want to spend? everything about these tools is how much you want to spend. I'm doing pretty good. Right now it's looking pretty decent. Now if I could just keep her going straight as I crank the handle around. Yeah, looking pretty good. I'm getting close to where I'm going to want to make my turn. Oh, it's starting to make a turn on me already. I don't know why. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. I have a feeling my turn's not going to be exactly perfect. But I think it's going to be okay. That's it. That's as far as I can turn it because my angle that I've bent over here is starting to hit. So I'm kind of stuck now. Take the work out of out of the bead roller. So I'll loosen up that bolt. I'll loosen up the set screw. We'll take the pressure off it. Crank that right up. It's not perfect, but you know what? I got it's a little gobby there. But in the whole broad scheme of things, it's going to be up under the dashboard where nobody can really see it. No. You know what? I could tune that up, I think, with a hammer and dolly. All in all, I'm pretty pleased. I think that looks good. So the Woodward Fab bead roller, I think, really worked great. The only problem is right here where I got a little gap, but that's, you know what? That's my fault. That's not the machine. It really pressed it in nice. Here's the old one, and yeah, it has pretty much a perfect sweep right there. That's the profile on the old one. That's the profile on the new one. There's a little wiggle right here from when I cut it in the shear, but I'll just pound that out. Profile, that looks just about exactly the same, at least close enough for what I'm doing. Well guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.